What is your guess I can't go into that store ever again story? I'm at a coffee shop. Have a glass of coffee in front of me. Filled to the top. That tea is almost overflowing. I raise my hand to get the waitress attention because I want to order something else. I accidentally whack the tea out of the glass. This sends it flying across the room where it hits the waitress on the thigh and gets coffee f-king everywhere. Felt bad. So I left and never went back. Went on a first date with this girl to a new restaurant in town. She proceeded to get sloppy drunk and made a huge scene. From the classic could not control the volume of her voice to insisting on trying to show me and some other gentleman nearby what kind of underwear she had on while loudly insisting that she's a good girl though. The server we had seemed to get that I was not a willing part of this, but I was so mortified there's no way I'd ever go back. My girlfriend fist bumped the clerk when he was actually reaching to grab a paper we had just signed. Anyway, we don't go to that tar kingdom anymore. I sat on a Target shelf and the entire row of shelves crashed down onto the ground. I tripped up over my shoelace and crashed into a shelf and broke it. The manager chased me out of the store. Edit. Cheers for silver my dears. While at the till at the convenience store paying for my lunch, the girl behind the counter asked if I wanted to go for a drink. Being married, I made my apologies hastily, pointing to the ring on my fingers. To which she replied that my lunch was a meal deal and would be cheaper with the drink. I went to buy groceries almost daily. Always in the same store. Most of the time only one checkout lane was open and there was always this really friendly older lady there. She would always make small talk with me and compare me to her son. After a few years of this I moved a bit farther away. But never told her. So I just didn't show up anymore. Now I won't ever go back there because I feel ashamed I didn't tell her and just abandoned her. In 1983 at age 17 I went into a pharmacy. I bought something and somehow I was given 50p too much change. I didn't say anything and left. To this day I've still not gone back. I have felt guilty ever since. Back when I was getting married I was sick as a dog and my soon-to-be bride insisted we go shopping for the wedding invites. Went into this pretty higher-end shop and really felt ill, and not just at the prices. Asked one of the workers if they had a restroom I could use. Long story short. Took a massive smelly diarrhea dump. Clogged the toilet and they had no plunger to fix it with. Even though I only flushed once, the toilet kept running and it started to overflow. Rushed out. Closed the door. Grabbed my bride by the arm and just said, "We gotta go." I got a gym membership for the first time recently. A lot of the machines are pretty self-explanatory. But I've never used a lot of them, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So a few weeks ago I'm trying out the endless stare machine and in front of me is a guy on a machine working his arms. Like making circular pedaling motions. I thought, I could do my arms too. So I take the machine next to his. Set the timer for 10 minutes. Just circling away. I finish my 10 minutes and look down by the seat to see handles. It was a leg machine. I sat there for 10 minutes in front of the entire gym. God and everybody circling my arms like a lunatic. I mean, I'm still going back because I paid for it. But I'm not going to look anyone in the eye there ever again. A friend was getting married and asked me to make her wedding dress. We went to a fabric store to check out our options and get swatches. She asked to use the shop's bathroom. A few minutes later, she walked out quickly and whispered to me, "We need to get the FCK out here now." Turns out she had explosive diarrhea and absolutely destroyed the bathroom. Neither of us have been back. You know how in department stores when they have one of those display bathrooms they have that piece of plexiglass that goes across the toilet that says something along the lines of "not a real toilet. Don't be an idiot and pee in this"? Those barriers didn't exist in the 80s when I was a young kid. Mum looked up and saw me with my panties off, holding my dress above my waist and sprinting for the toilet. She did not catch me in time. Edit. Thanks so much for my first silver. I'll tell my mom and maybe it will help to ease a bit of the embarrassment and shame this event caused her. I was in Walmart and had to readjust, so I kindly just shoved my hands down the front of my pants. While the vet tech from the vet's office I took my dogs to walked by, making eye contact with me. Never saw him again after that. Not a store but a Mexican restaurant. I went to use the bathroom. It was one of those single occupancy rooms with a locking door. Well, the door wasn't locked, and due to what I can only describe as the worst timing ever, I saw none other than my waiter's dick. I was kinda shocked, so I looked up and we made eye contact for a second. I just went back to my table and didn't say anything for the rest of the meal. Even as my friends were asking what happened. I eventually told them, and it's now one of my classic stories. But yeah. I can't ever go back. Edit. Wow, this is like my third comment ever and I got my first silver. Thank you so much, anonymous Reddit dude. When I was 10, me and my mother were at Kmart school shopping. I was trying on clothes in the changing room when all of a sudden I really had to fart. So I left the room, and while walking I let it rip. What I didn't see, there was employee bent down doing something and that fart hit her right in the face. When I realized, I ran out of the store scared to go back for years. I was in a souvenir shop in London, England. With all these knickknacks and whatnot. I bumped a shelf that had a bunch of models of Big Ben. And like 6 or 7 of them fell off the shelf and broke. I offered to pay for them. But the employees blew it off. I guess minimum wage workers don't care enough about their actual company policy. Thankfully. I was grateful. And now I will never return to that particular store. I was with a group of friends in a very quiet store. We were slowly leaving one by one through the double glass doors. One of it was closed and the other stayed opened. I somehow thought the closed door was opened and vice versa. So I walked smack into the middle of the closed glass door. My face was imprinted on it. I guess my face was very oily. My friends and the shopkeeper came rushing to see if I was okay. Then all marveled at my squashed face imprint. I left quickly. Every time I walk past that shop I make sure I am looking down or at the other side in case the staff recognize my face. Growing up, I had horrible separation anxiety. One time, in a neighboring city, me and my parents stopped at a restaurant to get something to eat. After eating, I got up to go to the bathroom, assuming at least one of my parents would wait at the table for me. Unknown to me, my mom went to the bathroom after me and my dad had walked out to pull up the car to pick us up at the door. I came out before my mom did and didn't see them at the table. This led to a massive meltdown. Went to a pizza place to pick up an order. Was handed the food and said, "Thank you, sir." The response was, "My name's Tiffany." Had to send my wife in to get the food until Tiffany didn't work there anymore. 7-11 down the street from me. Sold me spoiled milk multiple times, so I complained. She said it spoiled in the car ride home. 5 minutes way. In the dead of winter. Fuck her. A guy walked into Kroger. Grabbed a roll of toilet paper and wiped his ass in the middle of an aisle. Then he went into the store next door and called the pasty white manager a dirty Mexican. Now he can't go in 2 stores. I went into a local beauty products store. Everything is made locally by artisans. It's all very eco-conscious blah blah. I had never been in before. And I was looking for a serum or cream to help minimize eye wrinkles. I found a product one of the salespeople talked up. Small 0.75 ounces bottle. Then went to the counter to pay. "That'll be $135.50. Said the salesperson. "Oh hell no. Haha. No. No. No thank you. I don't care about my eyes that much." I blurted out before I even knew what I was saying. I turned on a heel and left the shop and never went back. It's been 6 months. Out at a buddy's property in Indiana when I got a shit. No toilet anywhere on his land, so I head to the little area down the road. There is a disgusting gas station and a diner there. I go into the diner and the hostess tries to seat me at a table. I explain I just need to use the bathroom, but she tells me that's only for paying customers. I look at her on desperation and say stack of pancakes, and so I don't shit my pants. Double quote. Took a dump and left out the back door. Guess I can't go back there as I'm probably known as the pancake pooper. The Flayojack farter. I was in a clothing store and on the phone just browsing through clothing without really paying attention. Sometime into my conversation I realized I was in the ladies underwear section flipping through yoga pants or something. Speed walked straight out of there. Jessops in the UK had staff who only talked to my male partner although he had no interest or knowledge in photography and I was the one asking questions about the camera lenses on sale. They are no longer in business. My partner and I were out for dinner. Suddenly she looked at me and said she had to go to the bathroom. She jumped up and at that moment projectile vomited all over the table. Running to the bathroom she carried on vomiting all over the floor. After about 10 minutes I get a text from my partner to come to the bathroom. I knocked on the door, was a single bathroom, and she opened it and politely informed me she had defecated herself from the force of throwing up. Oh my. After she'd done what she could to clean up the bathroom. We had to walk through a party of employees mopping her vomit up whilst my jacket around her waist. I paid the bill and swiftly left. We got in the car and never looked back. I quite liked that restaurant. And now we can never step foot in it again. Store clerk very nicely asked me if she could help me find something. My awkward self just went nope, turned 180 and left. Haven't been back since. 4 or so friends and I went into Dick's Sporting Goods right after we got our licenses. We were browsing around when we got to the gun safes. And my friend got inside of one to see if he could fit. My other friend then shut the safe. And another walked over. Not knowing our buddy wasn't there. And spun the dial. We stood in shock for about 10 seconds. And then realized we had to get staff to help. At this point, 2 of the 5 friends left to avoid getting in trouble. We haven't let them forget that 15 years later. We were 16 and terrified. We got a young kid. Who said, "I don't know the F-King combination." And started to panic. 2. Meanwhile, our friend is pounding on the safe telling us to get him out. Another friend had went to find staff and got an older gentleman from another department. Who calmly looked at the top of the safe and the sticker on top with the combination. The older guy stood relieved he was able to get him out. And the younger kid shouted for us to never come back to the store as we left. I walked into a shop near my house. Picked up a 6-pack. And walked straight out the door again. Well. Until I was stopped by security. I was so sure that I had paid for that beer. But my friends confirmed that I had not. My fiance and I stopped at a local restaurant 2 days ago that were offering a great deal for a pitcher of beer. I wasn't even planning drinking but couldn't say no to such a great price. It took me a very long time to finish by myself and I got pretty drunk and slowly turned into a very chatty catty. Halfway though a very long story I was telling, my partner whispered, "I think they are waiting for us," and motioned behind me. It turned out the restaurant closed an hour ago and every staff member was sitting quietly at the bar patiently listening to me going on about nothing. I lost sleep that night from embarrassment.